Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Paul. Welcome, everybody, to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Josh Taylor, in tonight for Rich Walsh. Joining me in studio for the first time on the show. Really excited to have him here. I think this is, the third or fourth different venue you and I have worked in together? It's been quite a few.
Yeah, it's been quite a few.
Tim Benz in the building, by the way.
Yeah, I just, is this the show where we're going to talk a lot of Penguins, talk a lot of Pirates, talk maybe some Pitt, and then the first call will be Anthony from Oakland telling us we should be nicer to Antonio Brown?
That might happen.
Does that work on this program, too, the same way as the other ones that we've worked on?
It's a strong likelihood that can happen.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to be consistent here.
Well, let's keep up with the script. Let's start with the Penguins, down 2-0. We'll start there.
I'd rather blame Antonio Brown for that. Can we do that?
It always seems to be high theater here when we do that. Let's get into this, because we look at game one, and we saw what happened in overtime. I looked at it as there were a couple things that were at least positive you can take from it. Even though things didn't go well, they were still very much in that game. Then game two comes around, and you and I talked about this off the air. Comment from Chris Letang talking about how they looked at the tape, and they felt like they had actually raised their game in game two when the results really did not look that way.
I didn't see that at all. I mean, if you look at some of the numbers as it relates from game one to game two and how the Islanders, I believe, improved themselves, they went from a shot differential of being down 44 to 33. Now they're +1 overall. They outshot the Penguins. Game two, the shot on goal differential overall now is from -11 to +1 for the Islanders. Face-offs, they went from a +6 to a +9, so they're +15 overall when it comes to face-off differential. Wow. The Islanders out-hit the Penguins in game two. There was a lot that they controlled the third period completely. In game two. So I don't know where they got better. I'm trying to figure out what metric or what sort of overall view Letang is looking at to suggest that they got better in game two from game one, because I didn't see it.
Now, with that said, they always say it's not a series until someone wins on the road. Well, now they got to come home and protect home ice, and they have to win at least one of those three possible games to try to stay in this thing to avoid getting completely knocked out before they try to take it back to Nassau. So now, when you add all that up, and looking at everything you mentioned from game one and game two, is it simple as figuring out what needs to change, or is there more at play here as far as what's going wrong?
I think there's a bit more at play in the sense that if they are going to rely on themselves being the better skill team, the better finishing team, well, then they got to finish. They have to finish these opportunities, because I don't think they're doing enough of that right now. I don't think they're finishing with the same frequency that Eberle and Bailey are. Barzal, guys like that for New York. I think that they're actually finishing at a better rate than the Penguins are with the chances that they are creating. We made absolutely no bones about it for the last how many weeks in a row of this NHL regular season that home ice did not matter. Home ice, just avoid the Caps. It doesn't matter home ice for the Penguins or the Islanders. It doesn't matter if you've got it or if they've got it. And the stats would indicate that. If you look at the Islanders versus the Penguins, I think the Islanders are 24-24 with wins this season at home or on the road. If you look at the Penguins, I think they're like 23-21 home versus road. So it's not just about switching venues. And I think in a lot of cases, when it comes to the Steelers, as Steeler fans, we build up unrealistic expectations.
We do.
And then we hammer them if they don't come through. And then when it comes to the Penguins, we build up unrealistic expectations, and when the expectations don't come through with the Pens, we make excuses as to why. It's not about the ice. You're hearing about bad ice now. It's not about, they just ran into a hot goaltender. You should beat Robin Lehner if you got this team of skilled players. In my opinion, there's no more excuses to be made, and if it's about home ice, then we got to get a lot more into that, because there's not a lot of statistical evidence to suggest it's just going to shift because they get back to PPG Paints Arena.
To your point, one of the other series we could talk about, Columbus up 2-0 on Tampa. They won both of those games at Amalie Arena in Tampa. This is the President's Trophy winning team that lost 2 games on home ice. So it definitely speaks to your point. Let's shift it over to the Pirates, because I think this is something that has become a little bit more important, because maybe the first couple weeks of the season you don't look too much into it, but this is something that I think sticks out. The Pirates last season lost 3 games when leading after the 7th inning. They've now done that 3 times in the month of April alone. And today another one came about. Richard Rodriguez gives up a home run after a 2-1 lead in a game where Chris Archer, even after laboring through a first inning, still manages to get his way through 7. He strikes out 9 guys, gives up only 1 run in a ballpark where this team historically has not really fared well, but he did everything he could to at least let this team have the lead going into the 8th inning, and once again, it slips away from him.
Well, their starters' ERA right now, I believe, is second best in Major League Baseball. And if you look at their pitchers' ERA overall, it's second best in Major League Baseball. Their bullpen ERA is right in the middle of the pack. And actually, I would have thought it would be worse, because if you look at how many times they've given up leads or they've failed to help the starters, to your point, like I've gotten the impression that it should be like in the 5s or the 6s.
You'd figure.
But I think their bullpen ERA is like 4.25, but they've done that in, I believe, the 3rd lowest amount of bullpen innings.
Which speaks to what the starters are doing. They're doing pretty well getting deep into games.
They're getting deep into games.
Yeah.
So you're asking your relievers to do very little, and they're not doing enough of it. And they've still given up 9 home runs out of the bullpen. Their starters have only given up 7. And they're not getting fielding support for the starters. They're the 3rd worst fielding team in baseball. And when it comes to runners in scoring position, I think they're the 3rd worst hitting team in baseball. So for all the points of measurement that you want to have to see your starters getting support, it's just not there from either the fielding or the relieving or the hitting in crucial situations.
I think those are all fair points. What we'll do is we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about Aaron Donald being in town. Really big week for Pitt football. And being included in that big week is Aaron Donald having a huge contribution to the team, but also has some really interesting things to say at the Blue Gold game today. We'll take a break. We'll take some phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. See you in a few minutes.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.